few years ago, I bought this rather large book titled Great Speeches in History. Great Speeches in History. So, I was a political science major. I've always liked to read, especially history. And this book just seemed appealing to me. It contains 200 inspirational speeches that have been given throughout history. There are speeches given by statesmen of our country and the early founders of our nation, such as George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, great orator Daniel Webster. There are patriotic speeches that were given in time of war and conflict, trying to rouse the troops. Queen Elizabeth I, when the Spanish Armada was on its way to fight them. Winston Churchill during the course of the Second World War. Margaret Thatcher, President Lincoln, and President Franklin Roosevelt in his fireside chats. There are tributes and eulogies that were given that are considered great speeches by Ralph Waldo Emerson, Jane Addams, President Kennedy, Will Rogers. There are even religious speeches that are notable in history, such as by Martin Luther, Sir Thomas More, Gandhi, Billy Graham, and Martin Luther King Jr. And as I read through many of those, I noted a few things. First, the writer of the speech had a great command of language. They were well read, you could tell. They knew exactly what words to use to reach the hearts of their listeners, appropriate for the occasion. Another thing I noticed is that they contain one primary thought. Even if the speech was lengthy, and some of them are, there's one subject to be addressed, one thought that is given. And with the exception of some speeches that are included by dictators and other less than honorable figures in history, these speeches always seem to appeal to people's higher virtues. Most of them contain references to virtues such as honesty, commitment, charity, truth, unity, hope, and even love. And the best part about the book is that it contains an updated chapter with many of my sermons. Anyway, after reading through most of the book, I was thinking, where are people who speak like this today? When's the last time you heard a public speaker speak in a way that inspired you, or motivated you, or even made you teary-eyed? It just doesn't seem like that we have a whole lot of insightful speakers in our day and age. And that's an amazing thing, given the fact that we communicate with each other more than any other time in history, with technology and accessibility, instantaneous communication. But look, if you spend any time reading internet blogs or newspaper editorials or even website responses, you'll find that most people lack proper vocabulary. They don't know how to express a thought clearly, and they're usually speaking or writing about something they know nothing about. It's interesting. Reminds me of something Abraham Lincoln once said: better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak up and remove all doubt. Right? Now, the passage that is given to us, today's first reading from the book of Sirach, is food for thought when it comes to the way we speak, the words that we use, the way we communicate with other people. The author of the book of Sirach tells us that a person's words can be used to measure one's character. The way a person speaks reveals their interior life and what lies in their heart. And he gives some comparisons. A piece of pottery, the nature, its quality is proven when it is fired in the kiln. Or the fruit tree demonstrates its health by the fruit it produces. So too, words are the proof of a person's character. We are told that we should test the words of others to determine if they contain wisdom or foolishness. And by a person's manner of speech, we can determine certain things, like their hidden attitudes, their intentions, what's in their conscience. A virtuous person is known by virtuous words. An evil person is known by words that lack virtue. We're reminded to exercise caution when it comes to trusting the speech of others so that we're not led down the path of untruth. And in the gospel passage today, Jesus also uses the image of a fruit tree to help us discern what is good and holy and what is evil and unholy. Like a healthy tree that produces good fruit, so too the good person speaks from the store of goodness in his heart. An evil person produces evil from the evil that is in his heart. And I think the last sentence sums it all up. From the fullness of the heart, the mouth speaks. What is in your heart is what will come out in your speech. Now, we have to be careful when thinking that Jesus is simply instructing us about how to test the speech and the thoughts and the intentions of other people. It's always easier to judge another person without looking at ourselves first. He says, why do you notice the splinter in your neighbor's eye and not see the wooden beam in your own eye? Jesus is pretty clear about this. Yes, we are to test the speech of others in order to determine wisdom or foolishness, goodness or evil. But we should first be concerned about testing our own speech. Like any other teaching of Jesus, we look into our own and our own souls to make certain that what we are producing is good and holy before attempting to judge the words and the actions of other people. As he says, how can the blind lead the blind? Shouldn't we first make certain that we see clearly our own faults and rectify them before we can claim to lead people or teach them or correct them? Think about all the things that you have said and spoken this past week. There are numbers of people you've touched by your words, at work, in the family, among friends, with your neighbors. We have communicated with people directly, face to face, and indirectly through the social media. Either way, what have we conveyed to others by our words? Have our words brought others comfort or discomfort? Have our words offered encouragement or discouragement? Have we spoken in ways that build people up or tear them down? Does our speech spread goodwill or suspicion? Do our words help clarify or create further confusion? So words are powerful things. They can cause wars or they can promote peace. As we hear so often, our words matter. What we say to other people, too, reveals who we are. If we speak in ways that are negative or cynical, we reveal a negative and cynical spirit within us. If our words are salacious, we reveal a spirit of lust. If our words are disrespectful, we reveal a spirit of immodesty. If every word we spoke this past week was recorded for us to read or listen to again, would you be embarrassed or ashamed at the tone or the context of your speech? So I think we have to recognize we can do more harm to people by our words than by any other physical action. Remember when you were a kid, they say about the bully, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That's a lie. More people suffer from verbal abuse than any other kind of abuse there might be. So as we approach Lent, this might be the opportunity to take a closer look at the way we speak to other people. You know, in our society, it seems that people are more concerned about expressing their opinions about the state of the world, our country, our culture, the media, any other scandals out there. But shouldn't we be concerned first about the state of our own heart? If we have the heart of Christ, our words will echo the words of Jesus himself. If we are people of prayer, our words will be prayerful. And if we truly love God and neighbor, then our words will be spoken with love and compassion. So in the end, you know, we may not be included in a book of great speeches. We're not going to be great orators or communicators. We may not even have much command of the English language. But that doesn't really matter. What matters is that we use the faculty of speech given to us by the Lord, so that we may say what is good and holy and right. In this way, our words will carry great weight and help build up the kingdom of God.